This troubled woman enacted unimaginable violence against her boyfriend, all in the name of excitement. This case begins much like the opening of a horror movie. A mother, Tara, heads into her basement to check if her son is home, and instead finds a bucket placed at the bottom of the stairs, a towel draped over the top. Confused, she proceeds to remove the towel, only to find that inside the bucket is her son's severed head. Hello viewers, today in this video, I will tell you the gruesome crimes of Taylor Schabusiness, the Green Bay mutilator who idolized Jeffrey Dahmer. So, without wasting our time, let's start the video. Taylor Coronado was born on November 23, 1997 in Chicago to parents Arturo and Marla Coronado. She was described as a normal girl who liked volleyball, and her childhood was considered somewhat stable. Taylor's behavior, however, began to spiral after the sudden death of her mother in 2009. Marla was only 41, and young Taylor was just 11. According to her father, Taylor began getting into harmless trouble at school. In the 7th grade, Taylor received mental health treatment, was prescribed medication. However, she did not continue to take this medication. Whilst in high school, Taylor began dating a boy named Shad Thyrion, but her behavior worsened to the point where she was expelled for fighting. This expulsion saw her living with her grandparents in Texas for a while before she moved back in with her father. In her adult life, Taylor married her first husband, Warren Shabo, in 2018 and changed her last name to Schabusiness. Over the next several years, Shabo had various run-ins with the law, including armed burglary, theft, disorderly conduct, and domestic abuse. Both Taylor and Shabo regularly used methamphetamine. By the age of 18, Taylor had already begun using weed and cocaine, but her meth addiction escalated by the time she was 22, using the substance up to 10 times a day. One drug-fueled incident saw the cops getting involved as Taylor wandered the street, banging on neighbors' doors. Reportedly, she told the police that she was on another planet and proceeded to attack one officer when he tried to stop her from walking into oncoming traffic. Taylor was placed under arrest for this altercation, but was later released on bail. 2 months after this incident, she engaged in a dangerous high-speed police chase when she was caught speeding. She managed to escape on foot, but the police located her car, and in it they found meth and syringes. She was eventually apprehended, but was again released on bail. She was ordered to wear an ankle tag, which she repeatedly removed. Taylor's husband was arrested on November 13th of 2020. After officers discovered large quantities of meth in his vehicle, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. In 2021, Taylor gave birth to her first child. Due to the timeline, it's undetermined whether Warren Shabo is the biological father. The baby was taken away from Taylor and eventually adopted by Taylor's grandparents. Over social media, Taylor's behavior began to spiral as she posted bizarre and somewhat violent content. She began searching the internet for hits on serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, such as Jeffrey Dahmer butt and Jeffrey Dahmer walking sexy into court. This behavior escalated further when she took a selfie of herself next to her mobile phone, which had a background image of a young Jeffrey Dahmer. Eventually, the relationship with her husband deteriorated, and, for reasons unknown, Taylor reconnected with her high school boyfriend Shad Thyrion. Shad Thyrion was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin, on September 7, 1997 to Tara Paconich and Michael Thyrion. His family described him as a kind and compassionate person who enjoyed games, camping, music, and wood carving. His relationship with Taylor throughout high school lasted around 2 years, but the pair remained friends, even after the relationship ended. On February 22, 2022, Shad, who usually lived with his father, decided to stay at his mom's house. From here, Taylor, her roommate, and an additional friend of hers, Alexander Gannon AJ, picked up Shad in a white van at around 9:30 p.m. The group decided to purchase some drugs and hang out. Later in the evening, AJ left the group and pertained during a statement that the night had been fine up to his leaving. Once AJ left, the group smoked some weed and Taylor gave Shad a haircut. Then they took the prescription drug trazodone, which is known as a sedative and antidepressant. In the early hours of the morning, Shad and Taylor returned to Shad's mother's house in the white van and proceeded to the basement. Tara occasionally saw Taylor come upstairs, but assumed she was using the bathroom. During the night, a storm had awoken Tara. She got out of bed around 2:30 a.m. and noticed the basement light was on. Assuming her son had left the light on by accident, she went into the basement and found it empty, apart from a towel-covered black bucket that was placed near the stairs. Confused, Tara removed the towel, revealing her son's severed head. At 3:37 a.m., two officers arrived at the house and confirmed that there was a severed human head in a black, 5-gallon bucket. They also noticed what looked like pieces of human flesh and blood near a mattress in the basement. Tara confirmed that her son was with Taylor that night, and the officers tracked Taylor down at her apartment. As they approached, they saw the white van. Sweeping their flashlights in through the windows, the officers saw the car was full of junk, along with a crock pot. The officers had no idea as to the gruesome contents inside the apparatus. The officers proceeded to ask Taylor why she thought the police were at her apartment. She at first claimed that it must be because she removed her tag. When interviewed, Taylor went on to say that she and Shad had engaged in sexual activities, during which Shad had worn a choke collar attached to a dog choke chain. Taylor claimed she saw Shad struggling to breathe whilst using the collar, but instead of stopping, she continued to choke him. She said she felt excited as he coughed up blood and his heart rate began to slow. Within 3 to 5 minutes, Shad was dead. He was 24 years old. Taylor continued to sexually violate his body after his death by performing oral sex, whilst mutilating his body with an array of kitchen knives. Taylor dismembered Shad's corpse, including beheading him, and used a blue container to collect the blood, which she then poured down the basement drain. She claimed she planned to take the body parts with her, which is why she put his head in the bucket. During the interviews, Taylor said she really liked the head, and that the police would have fun trying to find all of the organs. The bucket in question contained more than just Shad's severed head. It also housed a steak knife, a metal nail, a razor, and Shad's genitals. Body parts were also found in an Under Armour backpack and a blue storage bin that contained a knife and several organs, which Taylor had crudely carved from his corpse. The blue container also held Shad's torso with his arms still attached. The medical examiner on the case, Dr. Vincent, found physical signs of strangulation, such as injury to Shad's neck and the blood vessels in his face. He also found chain impressions on his tongue. The flesh across Shad's back had been flayed, with a deep chunk of flesh and muscle damaged so badly it exposed his ribcage. Eventually, the police located the crock pot. In it they found Shad's severed left leg and both of his thighs. Taylor was charged with first-degree murder, third-degree sexual assault, and mutilating a corpse. She was placed on a $2 million bail. A state psychologist evaluated Taylor and deemed that she was competent to stand trial. But this was only the first of many evaluations over the next several months. A psychiatrist from the defense team acknowledged that Taylor had severe substance abuse problems, but was still competent. The defense tried to have the statements she made to the police during her interviews invalidated as she was still under the influence. They wanted the sexual assault charges thrown out, as they claimed Shad's genitals may have already been removed. Both these requests were denied. Whilst incarcerated, Taylor tried to attack her defense attorney when she was told her trial date was being pushed back. This ended up in an evacuation of the courtroom due to the possibility she was trying to reach the guard's gun holster when her foot went through his belt. Taylor was also reported to laugh to herself when gruesome details of the crime were read out in court. The trial took place on July 24, 2023, with Taylor pleading not guilty on 2 counts due to mental disease or defect. The trial lasted for just 3 days, and the jury found Taylor guilty on all counts within 30 minutes. A defense psychologist claimed Taylor was criminally irresponsible due to severe bipolar disorder and the influence of drugs. Psychologists who testified for the state determined that, under the Wisconsin definition of the Mental Disease or Defect Act, her drug-fueled actions made her ineligible for the insanity plea. Taylor Schabusiness was sentenced to life in prison without the chance for parole. Viewers, this was the gruesome story of Taylor Schabusiness, the Green Bay mutilator who idolized Jeffrey Dhammar. Viewers, what you can say about this story? Tell me in the comment box. Thanks for watching. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling true crime stories. And remember, if you or anyone you know is battling dark thoughts, don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I meet you in a new interesting video.